So, Hare Krishna devotees, today is the third chapter. So, does anyone know the name of the third chapter?
Karma Yoga.
Yes, perfect. Karma Yoga. Right? So, let's on dot. So, before we start off with this, let's start off with Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timurandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshun Bilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Snapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Come on, all of you, one time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Thank you. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Right? So as you rightly said, today's chapter is Karma Yoga. So yoga means connecting one to God. So we will see that. And what are we going to see? Before we go, let's quickly have a revision of our second chapter. So before we touch the second chapter, quickly tell me what are the 5 challenges Arjuna had. What are the 5 challenges Arjuna had? Yes, it's in the chat. Thank you. Yes, compassion. Compassion is one, Kushi. Is there other challenges too? Yes, fear of committing sin. Indecision, no enjoyment. Thank you, Puchita. Thanks, Simran. Yes, indecision. And one more. Indecision, second. Yeah, family tradition.
Ma'am, distraction of family tradition.
Yes, Chetan. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Perfect. Destruction of family tradition. So each of that he encountered with very suitable answers. So how did he beat compassion? By saying that we are not the body, we are the soul. And you don't have to lament for the body. And no enjoyment. He says, hey, you have a bumper offer, right? You win, you go to heaven. I mean, if you die, you go to heaven. It doesn't matter for you. But if you are alive, it means that you got the kingdom. So either ways, you win. It's a win-win. Fear of sinful activity, he says, hey, nothing in devotional service becomes sinful because you're doing it for Krishna. It's not for your self-satisfaction. So things like judge, giving a life sentence or even death penalty, or a surgeon trying to cut off aptitude somebody's hand or leg, all this will not come under sinful activity because it's a duty. And destruction of family tradition is, Varnashram. So what does Varna Shankara is where, is basically, he says Varna Shankara is leading to the risk, right, of the family getting destroyed and the women also not knowing, become directionless. So he says the easy way is if you run away, only your family name gets destroyed, and infamy, that is lack of name for a Kshatriya, is worse than death itself, right? So indirectly Krishna is telling, I don't mind you fighting and dying rather than being alive and running away from the kingdom. Now indecision, he says, serve the Lord with firm determination, right? So if you serve Krishna with firm determination, you don't have to be indecisive. When do you get indecisive? When you have a choice, right? And I hope you all did that. I was asking you all, which one do you, can you relate to? Could you relate to one of this? Sometimes, so chat is open. So what do you relate to? Do you relate to compassion? Do you relate to no enjoyment? Fear? I mean, generally in your life, what dominates? For me, indecision dominates. Many times I get confused. I become indecisive. Yeah, indecision. Okay, thank you. Okay, Pujita, very sweet compassion. Yeah. So these are enjoyable and relishing moments of Bhagavad Gita when you start relating it to us. Otherwise, it will become like our regular, class. Right? So, Purba, okay, fear. Simran is compassion. Harshini, compassion. Okay. Very few of us are indecision. I think most of us are into compassion. I'm so happy that you all are into compassion. Compassion is one of the highest Vaishnava quality. And thank you so much for all of you being honest. I appreciate all answers. So here he starts, tell me one way, this way or that way. Typically happens for people who are indecisive, right? So tomorrow, next week is the exam, which book should I open? This book or that book? I'm confused. Right? Every time, the road not taken, right? We've read this. This is always the sweetest road. And Simran, okay, and also sinful activity, something like Krona may not like. You mean Karna or Krona? Okay. And yes, Chetan. Krishna, okay, thank you. Sorry. Something Krishna won't like. Robert Frost. Yes. Thank you so much for the name, Robert Frost. I was just thinking, I remember studying this in the school, right? Road not taken. So this is always the thing which goes on. So the other way, this way or that way. Ekam vada. Ekam means one, vada means tell. So tell me one thing. So Arjuna is telling, okay, Krishna, I decided I'm going to the forest. I put my backpack and I want to run away. So I want to ask you an answer before we start the session. How many of you have felt at least once in your life that you want to run away? May not have implemented, may not have executed, but have you got a thought? I have got. Purba, thank you so much. So we got a thought. Okay, I have some same Chetan. Okay, I asked Simran. Yes, thank you, Kushi. How many of you all have felt you should run away? Anything. It could be family, it could be school, it could be college, it could be friend. I just want to run away. We may not have implemented it, but a thought, that at least once, for me, I've got it many times, but not even tried to execute, but the thought has it come in school. Yeah, I know, I agree. So I remember when I was in 8th standard, you have left also, Vani, Acha, you're super racer. Me from exams, yeah. So in 8th standard, I remember that I used to get stomach pain every day exactly at 7 o'clock because that's the time I have to go to school. And 8:05, the stomach pain will go. I was in line. I'm very honest. Genuinely, I used to get stomach pain. So I'm yet to figure out what it is. And only stomach will pain. And that will go exactly, and it never comes on holidays. It comes only on school days, Mondays to Friday. So now many of us have wanted to run away, and this, yes, thanks. So many of us wanted to run away, and this is not yoga and this is not renunciation. So renunciation means not doing your current job and running away. So Arjuna is doing the same. He's telling, I will go to the forest. And Krishna is telling, no, all this is your issue. I have sorted it. Now Arjuna is saying, okay. And second chapter, if you see, he spoke about Siddhadir Muni yesterday. And he also concluded the chapter by prior to Siddhadir Muni. He says that, Buddhi Yoga is the best. And Arjuna's understanding of Buddhi Yoga is like our understanding of studies, right? So he understands, okay, Buddhi Yoga means, Buddhi means intelligence. Intelligence means any intelligent person will not fight. And karma means fighting because that's action. Therefore, I have buddhi, I am intelligent, I will not fight and I will go to the forest. Now, is bhakti, buddhi is talking about bhakti. So if you're going to the forest genuinely with the intention of bhakti, that's right. Otherwise, it will be like me and Pujita laughing, trying to run away from school, exam, and all of us. So that will be the situation. So let's see what's going to happen. Ekam vada, one thing, right? This is the idea of renunciation. The first one, 2.11 to 30. This kind of renunciation only we all wanted. Whereas if you see Hanuman, 2.38 to 53 example is given, he never ran away. Now this is Bharat Maharaj. I should have not told, I should have asked, but it's okay. How many of you all know the story of Bharat Maharaj? So we'll do that. And meanwhile, you can unmute yourself, Kushi. After I chant, you can read Hare Krishna. Karmendriyani samyamya yaste manasa smaran indriyartan vimudhatma mityacharasa uchyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One who restrains the senses and organs of action But whose mind dwells on sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender.
Hare Krishna. So he says one who restrains the senses and organs of action, right? So the mind dwells on the sense object. We spoke yesterday, right? I did give you an example of how the mind, works on the sense object. So what is how, if you keep watching, the moment you see, you get tempted, right? We spoke. So is the Mrityachara. So let's take an example. Hare Krishna. So let's take a classic example. Okay. Now Arjuna is a Kshatriya. Before we go to Arjuna, let's take our example. Okay. Now we're going to the forest, all of us. Okay. Now we decide we will not sit next to each other. We're going to sit far away from each other because we've renunciated. We don't want exam. We want to run away from home, teacher, school, whomever. How will we be? First thing is, I will supposed to not think of anything, which I will not. I will be looking at you. You look at me. You look at each other. Even if you don't know anybody, you'll be looking at each other. Now the next thing is we will, after a few minutes, start feeling, oh my God, mobile is not there. Oh, connectivity is not there. Yes or no? So that is the Mrityachara. Mrityachara means pretender. So he says somebody who goes and runs away from the existing job or work will be none but an actor. And imagine Arjuna, I have decided I'm going to renunciate. I'm going as a sannyasi. He will be quiet. He'll be successful, right? But now what will he do? The moment he sees some kind of adharma happening, let's assume that some animal is being slaughtered by a man, or if there is a girl who is being treated badly, his Kshatriya blood will go up. Even if he is going to not take any weapons, there is a proverb in Tamil which says, for a brave person, right, even a grass becomes a weapon. So he will immediately take the weapon of whatever is there and he will go for a fight, which means again he will go and perform some activity. So he says that's what he will become, right? And so he says you shouldn't do this. And Bharat Maharaj, just remind me, I'll tell you the story of him. Anybody knows the story, you can type in chat. Bharat Maharaj. So let's go to cycle of sacrifice. So it talks about the Lord. And Lord has written the Vedas. Now, is it true? Yes, it is. Because if the Vedas are written by us, which we are going to see shortly in the bridge course, that anything we write, it cannot be that perfect. It can be wrong. There can be errors. But whereas that's why Vedas are composed by Krishna himself, right? Through Vyasa. And it has Varnashram. You all were asking about caste. So it doesn't talk about caste. It talks about duties. What duties you can perform. And what are the sacrifices which needs to be done? Here, sacrifice do not talk about like I sacrificed ice cream. No, not that meaning. Sacrifice here means, work done for the happiness of Krishna. So various sacrifices are suggested in various yuga. Can anyone tell me what is the sacrifice spoken in this yuga?
And duties.
Right, but what, sacrifice, duties are Brahmana, Kshatriya, whatever duties they do, Prabhu. Sacrifice I'm talking about is what you do for happiness, right? So they were doing yagna, all this.
When they were doing their work, ma'am. Honestly.
Chanting. Yes. Thank you so much. Prabhu Shrimim and Kushi, perfect chanting. So it's called Sankirtan Yagna, which is chanting, right? So that's what we sacrifice. So sacrifice does not mean that we give. And I used to think that initially, I used to think sacrifice means giving away. And rain. So what happens? So these yagnas give rain. Why? Because the devatas feel happy. And they give rain, right? And from there you get grain. And eventually what happens is you arrange food for living entities. And finally, this is the circle, right? Because the moment the food comes, we don't eat the food directly. Because if we eat, we become robber, and therefore we give it to Krishna in the form of prasad. And there is always a bumper offer that Krishna does not eat the food. He hands it over as he eats the food, but then he doesn't eat the way we eat. So the quantity doesn't come down. Krishna can eat even with his eyes, and therefore the quantity remains same, right? Hare Krishna. So this is the one. Yagne Sankirtana Prayer Yajati Sume Dashaha. This is from Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is the book which has 700 slokas written or spoken by Krishna, written by Vyasa. The same Vyasa wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, which has 18,000. It is 18 books, 18,000 verses, 12 cantos. So it has a lot of prediction, which we will see soon. So it is Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So let's see these characters. Okay. Now, Shri Krishna Chaitanya is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none but incarnation of Krishna. He's called the Channa Avatar, who came 500 years ago. This reference is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32. Nityananda is none but Balram. So Balram's reincarnation, so his form is Nityananda. Sri Advaita is a combination of Shiva and Vishnu. Gadadhara is Radharani and Srivatsati is the Narada. So this is called the Panchatattva mantra, and you chant this every time before you do one mala. One mala is 108 times telling Hare Krishna, and you chant this one time before every mala. So you do 16 malas, you chant 16 times, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So this is a Sankirtan Yagna. And ready for the reading? I'll start. Hare Krishna. Yagna Shishtashina Santo Muchyante Sarva Kilbishai Bunjate Te Tvakham Papa Ye Pachatatma Karana. Hare Krishna. Yes, Pujita.
The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifices. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin.
Yes, the next one, Chetan, you can read. So basically, among y'all can take turns. No need to ask my okay or anything. And you all can read. I'm so glad you all initiated. So what is he saying? So any of the devotees, right, whatever food they eat, all the devotees, the food they eat are all released from, all are sinful. Even if you're in the forest, you will commit sin because you'll eat some food, you'll have to catch some animal or you will stamp some animal. So there's a sin. So while cooking also, you will burn with the fire, there'll be a lot of viruses which die. So why? So therefore, the food which you eat may be sanctioned, but you want to sanctify it by keeping it before Krishna. So others who just prepare and eat food for themselves are none but incurring sin. So that Krishna is clarifying. So we have to see this. This will come many times in the chapter, but this is called the bodily platform, right? So I will relate this to your studies. This is below animal platform where, people think only of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So let's talk about books just for understanding. So I'm not going to take class about books. So in that eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, what do? Is they will only, let's say take the book to use it as a pillow and lie down. That, some people do. So that is a bodily platform. Now the sensual platform is, while they want to lie down, they think it's wrong and they'll be contemplating, we should also study. So in the actual sense, they also give, besides the four, they use their senses, not intelligence, but senses, right? They believe on okay times. The next level, which is the mental platform, is about that. And there in this platform, they use the mind, right? Mind becomes active. Oh my God, I have exam and I can't do last moment. I have to study, and still it says, okay, let me play in the mobile, because we are going to see whether the mind is a friend or an enemy in the 6th chapter. And then is the intelligent platform. Intelligence says, forget it, get up and open your book and study. Most of the time, we become very intelligent just before, one day before exam. Yes or no? And that day, every time we take a resolution, boss, this is the last time I take the book one day before exam. Every time I used to take a resolution. My intelligence used to be so intelligent then. And will tell, okay, after the exam, the next moment after the exam, I'm going to prepare for the next subject, even if the exam is after 1 month. So my intelligence is very smart. But what happens is just after the exam, my mind will tell, hey, Radhika, it's okay, relax, one day, na. And my sensory platform tells, go, lie down. And my bodily platform tells, forget about it. So this is what happens most of the time. And above all is called the spiritual platform, which is called the Anandamaya platform, which gives the highest happiness. Hare Krishna, Tapoban, and so on.
Ma'am, can you repeat please the sensual platform?
Which platform?
Sensual platform.
Spiritual platform, you mean?
No.
Sensual.
Sorry, I can't hear your word.
It's sensual. After bodily.
Okay, sensual platform. Okay. So,
yes.
Okay, sensual platform, okay, is the next level. So, besides your body, right, you engage your senses also. Your senses are the next level, right? It's slightly better than your bodily platform. Bodily platform, let me take an example of a cat. right? Besides just being animalistic, a dog, right? It has a sense, okay, my master has come, I have to go and wag my tail because I love him. You understand there's a slight difference between just an animalistic propensity of a snake which is lying down and a dog which is reacting, right? Its senses are more, its sense of smell. Likewise, a person who's having a book may not use it as a pillow, or will use it as a pillow, still will be thinking, oh my God, this is not the right thing. Let me remove the pillow. Let me not use the book as a pillow. It's not the right thing. So he starts thinking. If I relate to food, this bodily platform guy will tell that, okay, let me just take alcohol, forget about it. Sensual platform makes an alert. It's not even moved to mental platform, but he says that, okay, I will not see it now. Maybe I'll see it later in the evening, but this is not the time. The senses are going to have, the senses have a reaction. They have value. But in an animal platform, senses don't work. They see whatever. You will see some of them who will not, they don't care, right? They'll watch TV, they'll have food in the same place. Even worms will eat that, cockroaches will be there, nothing will bother them. They are in that bodily platform. You'll be thinking, yuck, how can you even be with them, right? Have you come across people, at least in the movies they show, no? Cockroaches one side, food half eaten, right? So that is the story. Can I move on? Acha, I've already moved on. Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna. So now I will just remind me about Bharat's story. I will tell. So 3.42, Hare Krishna. Indriyani paranyadhu, indriyebhya param manah, manasastu para buddhi, yo buddhe paratastu shah. Hare Krishna. Yes, Chetan.
The working sense are supervisor to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence still higher than the mind. And the soul is even higher than the intelligence.
Prabhu, your voice is really low. First line was okay. Second line, I couldn't hear. Maybe if you can, but I'll go ahead. So basically, we just saw, whatever we saw is what is explained here. What it says is the dull matter, the senses are superior than the dull matter, right? There's no life body, but senses are more superior. Mind is superior than the senses. And intelligence is superior than the mind. And more than anything is the soul, which is the platform which we saw, right? So for example, you will understand better with this, right? So these are the senses, eyes, we say, right? That is why they say, do not engage your senses, right? I was talking about the ad. You see a lipstick you want to buy. So if you engage your senses in things which are wrong, they are very receptive. So you can't control. They will take control of the situation. So these are the senses. We have 5 senses. And the rails, right? The rails are like the mind, which you are controlling the horse, right? Not every one of us will know to control the wheels. And intelligence is the driver, right? And he is driving. That's us who's driving. So what is this? What is this white thing? Can anyone guess?
Skin, ma'am.
The dull matter.
Sorry?
Dull matter.
No, white cannot be dull matter.
Soul.
Ma'am, skin. Skin, ma'am,
Perfect.
skin.
Okay, white is the soul. Agreed. Perfect. Simran, Kushi, fine. Then which one is the body?
The chariot.
Superb. I am dealing with stalwarts. Perfect. So the body becomes the chariot. So very beautifully they have explained. So he says that. Now let's move on quickly to this 3.21. Hare Krishna. Yad yad acharati shesas tat tat eveta nojuna sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anubhaktate. Hare Krishna.
Whatever action is performed by a great man, common men follow in his footsteps, and whatever standards he stepped by exemplary acts all the world pursues.
Very nice. So what happens? We all say lead by an example, right? So most of the time what will happen, mommy will wear lipstick and they will tell the baby, don't wear lipstick, right? That's the most irritating thing. So when we were small, I used to see a lot of aunties in the family, of course, my aunts and all. And I would feel like doing it. Mostly it will be the mom, which I like to do, but especially aunties. So when my mom used to be cooking, my mom used to tell, don't come to the fire, don't play. I won't understand she's big, but I used to think that, oh my God, mommy is playing with fire. Why not me? Why shouldn't I play? What's wrong? Yes or no? We've all felt that way, right? So this is exactly the way they also feel. So that is what he keeps telling. So that puts him of. So that's what they are talking about. So whichever person, great leader does, and he gives an example of Janaka Maharaj. Does anyone know who's Janaka Maharaj? Of course, it's certainly from it's from somewhere. We are now in the middle of Mahabharata, and Janaka Maharaj is genuinely from Ramayana. It's not an example I'm quoting. Krishna has given. Janaka Maharaj is somebody in the chat, Sita Mataji's father. Oh, not bad. Yes, Simran. Kushi. Okay. Because first time when I heard, I just could not even relate for a second, even though I knew, because I just felt it was out of context, right? Because that's what I said. We are in Mahabharata and it's a lateral jump. So he was one such person who led by an example. So that's the thing. Story of Janaka Maharaj, I will tell you in your level 2. Now we won't have Anicham Balat, right? So Bhagavad Gita. So what is he saying? So let's, this is a nice last sloka, I will tell you. Hare Krishna. Dhume navriyate vaimi yata darsho malena cha yatodlena vrito garbha tata tenedam avritam. Hare Krishna. So he is talking about, so Krishna is answering this because Arjuna asked him. Krishna, Arjuna is asking. Okay, fine, whatever you're saying, I understand. So basically, I clearly understand that dull matter, that is basically mind, senses are about dull matter, which is not having life, and mind is about the senses, and intelligence is about that, and soul is a superior. Fine, I understand. Then what is it something which makes us do things, which is against our will? Example, mobile. We will be very clear that I'm holding the phone, right? But I'm going to see this only for 1 minute. But then when I see it becomes 15 minutes. I have an exam, I genuinely want to study, I'm going to play a game and I genuinely want to play for 5 minutes, but then I land up sitting on it for 2 hours. What is that? It's something which is really taking me detrack, right? Which one is that, he says, right? And he says, it is lust only. So he says, Arjuna, this is lust, and it is in 3 levels. The first level is like the smoke covering the fire. The fire is more powerful. And obviously smoke does not have a major influence, it causes, but it does not suppress the fire too much. So, and if we have this fire, if this fire is lit in human, we can take it to the next, because if the fire of bhakti is put a little bit in a person, he can catch it and glorify with that. And this is related to human, right? Because we are like that. For us, understanding is easy. Now I can get all of you and sit in a class and make you all teach or speak, but I can't do that to an animal. So the next level is that of a mirror, right? Dust in the mirror. It's difficult, it's hard, but not impossible, right? Dust is covering, like lust is covering. Imagine, na? So you have to really put little efforts, and it's like the animals, right? So this is the story. And the third one is like the child, right? Garbo means in the garbha, the stomach, the uterus actually. So the child is safely inside, so tight that the child can't do anything, right? Until 9 months, it has to stick there. This is compared to that of a tree, where the trees are having conscious, but they are so tightly held that they can't do. So he says the lust at 3 levels affect at various levels, and to that extent they are deeper and stronger. So he says that, and therefore, just a quick revision with that we finished, because he says lust only, Arjuna. So 3rd chapter starts with 1 and 2, which says Ekam Vada. Tell me one thing. 3.3 and 3.9 is Niyatam Kuru Karma. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, right? He says Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga, right? What do you mean by Nishkama? Nishkama means whatever you do, any action, surrender to Krishna. So the war, don't think my happiness. If you see in the 1st chapter, all the questions about Arjuna seemed to be very compassionate, but he says, I am compassionate. My uncle, my father, my teacher, my happiness, my enjoyment, right? My sins, my family trend is so much of mine, my factor, right? And anyone with an I or a my, we call them selfish, right? Don't we? So that we have to shift to Neshkama, right? The judge does that. He doesn't care who is on the other side, because he's just doing it as a duty. So he's saying you should also do it like that. And Pravartitam Chakram means Karma Kanda to Karma. Slowly from Karma Kanda, right? We'll move to Karma Yoga. Yoga is linking to God, and Karma Kanda is I want to do for myself, I will eat, I will drink, I will enjoy only me. From there, you go and do things around Krishna. So that becomes Karma Yoga. Lead by an example. We spoke about Janaka Maharaj, and there's one more person who led by an example, which will come into 4. And that is Krishna himself, because Krishna says that he led a proper life. He married, he was, though after the Mahabharata war had been fought and he was in Mathura, and then he went to Dwaraka. Dwaraka was technically reporting to Yudhishthira. He did report to Yudhishthira, and every time Yudhishthira was elder, every time he met him, he used to fall on his feet. And when his friend comes to his palace, right? He, as a Brahmin, he used to really take care of him. Sudama, right? You all know the story. So he used to wash his leg and all that, which is where the expectations of anyone, for a Brahmana. And now going to the next thing, besides that, he also went for tuition. That is to Gurukul, right? Santipa Muni, where he and Balram learned all this. He need not do that, but he did as an example. He got married, he begot children, because he says that if I don't do it, people will take my name as an example and not follow. So that's why he followed everything. And he says, which is the greatest enemy, Krishna? When Arjuna asks 3:6-4:3, he says, Iha Vairina, which means lust only, Krishna. He says lust only, Arjuna. That's the greatest enemy, right? Which is very difficult to be conquered. So he gives two examples, Janaka Maharaj and Krishna himself for this. So with that, Ekam Vada, Krishna very clearly tells, you have to see great people like Janaka, me and all. We never ran away. We all fought, right? So you also fight. So with this, we come to an end. And I told you, I'm going to tell you the story of Bharat Maharaj, right? So let me start. So Bharat Maharaj, so what is the specialty of Bharat Maharaj? So Bharat Maharaj is, the name Bharat Vansh came after Bharat Maharaj, and he is the son of Rishabdev. And Bharat was not just India Bharat, it was a whole world. The entire world was called Bharat. And what was his specialty? He was so nice, and he was, he was one of the 100 sons Rishabh had, and he was an excellent warrior. Now I'm going to come back to your yesterday's question, and you all asked me if they can become a Brahmana or yes. So the first 9 of them, the 9 of his sons, Rishabh's son, in fact, Rishabh is an incarnation of Krishna, and he was born to teach how to do yoga, yogasana. So that I will tell. For siddhis, how to practice. Now Rishabh was very, he left it with, Bharat Maharaj, because the 9 sons of him became Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa are very elevated brahmacharis, and they will not even think wrongly. See, forget about going to a girl, they will not even think of a girl, right? That level of austerity they follow. The balance 81 became sannyasis, right? They went to various forests. So that leaves, that leaves about 10. So Bharat and the rest of the brothers were moving. When Bharat was 24, by then he was married, he had a child, he handed over the kingdom to his son and went to the forest. And that's a picture you all saw. And in in that place, what happened is he got, he has left everyone because he felt Krishna is the best and he has to come, right? Renunciation. We were talking about today, renunciation. So what happened is, he was very dedicated, but unfortunately, one small thing trips and falls. And that small thing is that he gets so influenced by, this particular concept that he saw a deer, mummy deer, who is pregnant and it's running to save its life from a lion which is chasing. And in the process, it jumps off from the cliff and dies and delivers the child, which falls in the running stream. So Bharat Maharaj goes, runs and saves it. What he did, is it right or wrong? Come on, chat is open. You can unmute and talk. Is it right or wrong? Why are you all silent? Wrong. Why you should not save a life? Pujita, should you not save a life if you can? Whether it's an animal or something? Vaishnavi, okay, right? Because he was in renunciation. Okay, couple of things. One, what he saved was perfect. Because even in renunciation, what you should never leave is compassion, right? So saving a life is totally right. Yes, Simran. The challenge, what happens is, after that he starts thinking that, oh, this deer has no one but me. I am the only caretaker of this deer. And he became very passionate and he became totally addicted to the deer. That he started thinking, if the deer goes out on a holiday, he'll think, oh my God, maybe the deer does not like me. Maybe there is a problem. Maybe I'm not taking good care of the deer. He got over involved. And this story has 3 parts. I'm going to tell you only one part today. And after that, what happens is, One day the deer becomes big and it doesn't come, it goes to the forest, evening it will come that day. And all his yagnas, if you see the picture, his eyes are constantly on the deer. He's not on the yagna. So his purpose is based. Imagine he gave up his family, children, kingdom, beauty for this renunciation, and he is attached to the deer, and he's renunciating about the deer, right? And it's like all of us, right? We run out of the exam, but we're not thinking. So running away is not renunciation. Running out of our current situation is not renunciation. Loving Krishna and praying for him is renunciation, right? So he thinks of the deer and searches the deer, and he falls off from the cliff and dies thinking of the deer, and therefore he gets the body of the deer. So this is what it is about this story, but the story doesn't end. But the moment he's born, he is so elevated, he is in a very advanced state. So immediately he remembers everything in the past, and therefore he runs back to the place where he was doing tapasya, and he stays there. And the deer, what happens, we will see in the next part 2. Yes, Simran, how do we understand that line between duty and attachment? Okay, very simple. So whatever we are talking about, it will come over practice, very difficult, because currently we are on the theory. So whatever we are doing now is attachment only. So let's say 12th standard, you want to become a doctor or an engineer, it's your choice. It's not wrong in deciding. But what becomes wrong is you become, of course, anyone has questions, you can type in chat. Meanwhile, I will open the bridge. So what will happen is these, becoming a doctor or engineer, your job is to study hard. You just finish that. But many of us, what they do, I need this, I can't tolerate if I don't become a doctor. Or let's say the parents will tell, I want you to become a doctor or an engineer because I did not become. Hare, if you did not become, you become a doctor. Study now and become. No, why you want me to, am I the bakara? Why you want me to be the doctor, right? So this
Yes, ma'am, the parents don't understand this.
Exactly. Not only your parents, no parents will understand. Okay. So
Yeah, I'm saying the overall.
yeah. So what happens is they immediately say it's my dream. Hare, you have to live your dream. I have to live my dream, right? So now do you see the difference between attachment and love and duty? So if it is a duty of a parent, it is a duty of the parent to take care of the child. It's a duty of the child also to take care of the parent. I'm not saying that. But what is the duty of the parent is to tell that these are the suggestions. I suggest ABC, you're good. Let's say you're good in science or maths or whatever. This could be right for you. But the choice of what you want, what you have to study, you have to take, right? You can sit, but end of the day, it's a different story. Who adjusts? But the fact is, I am not getting something I want you to do is not the right thing. That's not attachment. I mean, that is attachment. That's not love. And that is, can you see the difference? That's not duty either. Because you are my child and you come from me. I want you to do what I want to do, not what I want you to do, what I want to do. You get that? So there you can see the attachment. So, it happens that way. Hare Krishna Mataji, are Vyasdev and Sanjaya related? They are not related, but Vyasdev is the spiritual master of Sanjaya, like the teacher. But those days, teachers are very important, right? Unlike today's teachers, where neither they are dedicated nor we give so much of respect. So, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So are you all ready for the bridge presentation? I'm going to wait for you to tell yes. Oh, Krishna.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want you all to have a feel of the bridge presentation. So if you're like, we will have each and every day one bridge presentation. Today we're going to talk about karma. So I'm going to the clouds, the backdrop. Okay. So let's go to karma. So what is karma all about? Right now, define karma in your own words, and then we'll get into it. Don't go by the chapter, what we read. Just go by what you read, understood. What is karma? Your definition of karma. Whatever, duty, action, whatever. So our actions, beautiful. Thank you, Kushi. Taste of your own medicine. Yeah, that's a sweet way. Yeah, exactly. So both are correct answers. Karma has multiple meaning. The first one is whatever you told. What you do is what you read. Taste of your own action is coming there. Your own duty will come shortly. We live in a world where each one of us are unique. Agreed? Some are fabulously rich. Some are born wretchedly poor. Very handsome? Is he very ugly? Right? Healthy and strong? Challenged physically? Some of them are born to rich parents, the way you guys are. What is this place? Somalia, right? Very poor, very challenged. Why is God partial to some? Yes or no? Isn't God partial? Yes or no? Vani, karma is all what you give and what you get back. Yes, very true. What you give come. Karma tells about future. Very nice. God is not partial, Simran, okay? But seeing all this makes me feel God is partial. One time in life, some part of our life, we'll always say God is partial. We felt. If you've not felt your group, somewhere a little bit we'll think, why me? Only me. Why not them? All these thoughts come.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So sometimes we feel God is partial. So let's just see. Another perplexing question. Okay. Now we'll park that question. We'll get to this. Why do innocent children get killed? Now, so far you never felt God is partial. More so when many didn't do anything wrong, right? Usually children don't do anything wrong. So let's say, why do children get killed?
Because of their bad luck.
Because due to their past karma. Past karma.
Yes, that's what I'm asking. So why past karma? That's fine. That's a very logical thing. Past karma, but don't think of karma. Just think of a dumb person like me, where you can't relate too much of karma. What happens? You know, why do people get killed is not convincing, right? And go to the next slide and you will understand. See, a lot of these children go, right? It's very painful. Parents also have to go through this trauma. Losing a child is there. Why is God so unkind? And your answer is very sweet, past karma. So now there are these issues, right? Why is God so cruel? Some argue God cannot be all powerful and all merciful simultaneously. Because if God is powerful and all merciful, it's conflicting. Because if he's all powerful, then he can stop every bad thing happening. Right? Maybe he is all powerful, but he's not having any mercy, no soft corner. Or if he's all merciful, he's so sweet, maybe he doesn't have power to execute. Yes, dear? Hare Krishna.
Ma'am, if at least God should, ma'am, there is nothing powerful than nature, ma'am. I think God also have no power than the nature, ma'am.
What you feel is nature is more powerful than God, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Your question will be answered from the 7th chapter. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, everything will answer your question. That's section 2 of Bhagavad Gita. So you wait and I will come back to your question. Nature is very powerful, yes, and the God is above nature. Because if nature is above God, then nature will be the most powerful. But this is the issue which they have, right? If God is all powerful, then he may not be all merciful. Right? Because you see all this, we see suffering around. If God is so merciful, then maybe he is very merciful, but like how you said, maybe he's not powerful because he's not able to solve the problem. Scriptures inform that God is the supreme well-wisher, right? This is not what I am telling. Scriptures are telling, right? 5.29 says, Bhoktaram Yakna Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He's a king of all lokas, right? Supradim Sarva Bhutanam, best well-wisher. So Shanti, happiness is assured. So that is what he says. And he is supremely powerful. Just 1 second. Yes. So, okay, there's one answer. Nature is created by God. That's true. Nature itself is created by God. Maybe that the bad things was actually best for them, their soul. Okay, bad things may be best for them, may not be best for them. I don't know. I'm just trying to contemplate. All your answers are right. So I'm just saying. So Bhagavad Gita 9.29 says, Lord Krishna personally declares, Samoham Sarva Bhutena, I'm equal to all. He says this. Then why is there a discrimination? Somebody is rich and you people seem to be so elevated. Now I'm coming back to the court of law. All right, a judge. Judge offers imprisonment, right? Same judge awards money compensation. Why is the judge different? You tell me now. The judge Partial? Yes.
No, ma'am.
But he is doing his duty based on what the person has done, right? Likewise is karma, right? So karma is based on what you are doing. You already saw this under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. So it's under the supervision, but according to the result of the work. So karma is nothing but it is under Krishna, but based on the result, right? The living entity, the soul is a particular type of a body, right? Based on, there are 84 lakh species and you get one of the body based on your karma, guna and karma, your quality and your karma. Even Newton's third law of motion. What is third law of motion of Newton?
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
This law nobody forgets. I don't know why. Absolutely right. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yes, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Why do you call it a law? A law is something which does not change. It's fixed and frozen, right? But who is witnessing our activity? The Lord is seated in our...
God, ma'am. God.
Yes. Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. As Paramatma. Right? So Krishna says in 8.6, and this is the linkage to the Bharat story. Ya ya bhapi smaran bhava tajate ante kalevaram tatam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah. So whatever state of mind or whatever state of being one remembers when he quits the body, oh son of Kunti, he's talking to Arjuna, that state he will attain without fail. And what is the state of being one remembers when he quits his body, oh son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail, is what he says. So at the time in human form of life, why have we not become an animal? I cannot sit, I can't make my dogs and cats sit down and take class, right? Even if I take, they won't understand, but you all can, right? So human body is like a blessing in disguise because that will give you elevation. If we engage in sinful activity, right, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, we are known as they are known as the 4 pillars, right? And we will suffer karmic reaction because for what we do, we have to be suffering. It can be manifested in the form of chronic disease, legal implication, low born, uneducated, very ugly. But if we lead responsible lives, right? And for somebody who asked me yesterday, astrology, is it true? Partially. How many astrologists are perfect? I don't know, but they are. But can you change your fate? Yes, you can. Because now Krishna is the most powerful you wrote. So obviously Krishna can change your fate. So even if it is written in the fate, it's there, by chanting and you're following process completely, everything changes. Austerity and sacrifices, right? We see this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jnana is cultivation of knowledge. You can parallelly do, and Prabhupada has done 60 books, and I've shared, right? Associating with saintly people. If you associate, whom you associate matters, right? By that, you can elevate yourself to the kingdom of God. There are different kinds of karma. First one is whatever we do, pious activities, we get elevated. Whatever we do, vikarma, these are activities which are forbidden. Where is it forbidden? Who is written? Anything which is as per Shastra is called karma, good activity. Anything which is not written in Shastra is vikarma. And third category is called the akarma, where it is definitely based on karma, which is written in the Vedas, but the actions you give to Krishna, you don't get benefits for both, good or the bad. There's a beautiful wording. Life is a preparation, death is an examination. Ethical law of nature is karma. For every action, there is a reaction, and as you sow is what you get. So what happens is when you do good karma, you go to heaven. Bad karma, you go to hell. And there is a detailed explanation of hell, which you may or may not believe, but that's a fact. In the 5th chapter, 5th canto, Bhagavatam, 28th verse, there are 26 hellish planets. Bad karma, right? Karma is connected to the soul. So it's not about the body, it's about the soul, right? And sometimes bad things happen to good people. Is, as you said rightly, it's a reaction of the past. What are these bodies? We told there are 84 lakh bodies. Depending on that, we get. Ignorance of law is not an excuse, right? Many people tell this. So my brother always used to tell, I don't want to read Bhagavad Gita, because if you read Bhagavad Gita, I have to follow. You don't have a choice. Whether you read Bhagavad Gita or not, you have to follow. All of you will be sooner, you might be having a license or may not be having, or sooner you will apply for one, right? So can you tell, policeman, I did not read the book that I am supposed to drive in the left. I didn't know that I can not go triples. Since I don't know, please excuse me. Police will tell, very nice, you didn't know, no problem. I will excuse. Will he say that? No, right? Same with God also. If you don't know, you're supposed to know the Lord, right? So that is the same thing. Yes, thank you, Kushi. Hare Krishna. The inherited character of the soul is from the God. So basically, the quality of the soul is supposed to be very good. But the soul suffers or enjoys based on the free will. Many times people tell Krishna only made me do. No, it's your free will. You can do whatever. Right? Lord Krishna is supremely free. So we have limited freedom. By proper use of the free will, we will be able to get out of the past karma. Soul is entangled here, right? Bahuna janmanam ante Yamanam ma prapadyate Vasudevan parva sarvamiti Samahatma sudurlabha. Very rare. He says after many births, who knows actually surrenders to me. So typically all those who are here, it is not your first birth. It is like after many births you have done this, right? And what is the religion which you should follow? He says, whatever you've been doing, this will come up at the end. Sarva dharmam parityaga mamekam charanam braja ahatva sarva papebhyo mukna inyami machanuchu. So what is he saying? Abandon all religions. So you had a lot of wrong practices. It's very important you read Bhagavad Gita, but at least because you're material, right? Your parents tell you to follow this, follow that, what to do. I don't know, you don't know. That is exactly why, you have to read what it says. Like my dad, not many years, always used to tell, Tuesday is not a good day, you should not do anything. But in Telugu and in North, they call it Mangalvar. And in Hyderabad, they used to get people married on Tuesday. Mangal means good day. But in Tamil Nadu, they have this belief that it's a bad day. So now which one should you believe, right? That is why we need to know Shastras, because Shastras tell us what to do. Give knowledge to people is most important, right? And Bhagavad Gita 8.68, this is what I'm saying. So what does it say? For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, he says that if you share this secret, you will not be entangled, and that is the liberation. And this is the picture of your Vaikuntha. So entangled in Krishna conscious, engaging in Krishna conscious gets you out of entanglement and keeps your spirit high. To sum up, material world is created for you to play because you want to play independently. Its extended play leads to soul getting entangled. Surrender to Krishna wipes out all karmas. Right? So far, we saw Krishna resides in Goloka. Soul is a part of Krishna. Soul belongs to Goloka. Soul dependent on Krishna live in Goloka. Independent souls are sent to the material world, and independent souls assume material world. Right? Engagement in material world entangles. If you think of Krishna, you get entangled and you go back to Krishna. Goloka. So that's the mission of our world, right? Now we have three modes, and this is to answer your nature. So nature is Prakriti. This is called mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Just remember this names. It will be heavy. I'll come back to you. So what happens is Krishna is not below the modes. He is above the modes, right? He is above, and these modes are Maya Devi. Nature reports to Krishna. There is nothing called by chance. We say, no, luckily may be true, but not by chance, because everything is pre-arranged. Many of you would have joined. Hey, I was just wanting to join Bhagavad Gita correctly. No, because Krishna is in your heart and gets your plan done as per your wish, provided you have enough credits for that. So what is destined? Our thoughts, action creates situations which makes you feel. So this is what it is. What happens is destined, right? You can't change because your karma. But how we respond is free will. Example, I have exam. Okay, I can take a book and study. That's all I have control. But what paper comes is my destiny, right? I don't have a choice. But what can I do? Example, mummy is giving 20 rupees, let's say to Chetan. Now Chetan has two choices. He can go and buy a juice and drink. Okay, or he can buy a notebook, whatever, for 20, or he can buy a cigarette. Sorry, Chetan. So now he has a free will to do all three. Can he say, if someone asks, who bought a cigarette? Mama bought cigarette. Can he say that? No, right? That's the same situation. So Krishna is giving the option with a freedom. Otherwise, we'll become like slaves. Will you like your mom and dad giving you money and appointing a servant to have a look as to what you're doing? No, right? We don't like being spied. So that's the same thing. Right? So this destiny determines. So therefore, destiny, we already saw all this. It's the same stuff. So destiny allows only a certain amount of material happiness. And our efforts should be to change. So all this, what you told, we should not keep breaking our head. We should think of moving into a higher level. So this one talks about abandon all religion. Krishna says, and he says, face our destiny better. He gives idea, right? To improve our future destiny, whatever happens, you can get out of it. And he also says, therefore, prepare to fight and win glory. This will come later. So he says that, forget it. Come on. So currently, what can we do? We can do only chanting, right? So the chanting is mantra meditation, which is called Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And powers of prayers are very important because they work, and especially group prayers do have a great influence, right? Prayers go up, blessings come down. It's very true. Make truth and love as the foundation of life. Very, very important, right? And with this, we will end the session, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Before that, Vancha Kalpa Darupyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha, Patidanan Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, sharp 4 I finished. Yes, Vaishnavi, if anybody wants to leave, yes, you can leave. And if you have doubts, you can ask. If you want to stay, you can. Yes, Vaishnavi, please go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Manu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Instead of getting punished for our past actions, why can't we get instantly punished? Like just like in our courts.
Agreed. So you and me are sitting, okay? We are just having a cup of badam milk, okay? Now there is a mosquito which came and sat on your shoulder. You're hitting the mosquito, you killed one life, so therefore you should be killed. All one knife comes and cuts you. Is that okay?
No.
You just told me you want instant punishment. I'm giving you.
Yeah, but it first came to take our blood, so it's not a kind of a mistake.
I'll come to that. That's fine. Let's assume that, okay, I will justify. I will go with you. Mosquito didn't come to you. Mosquito was in somewhere else in the next table. You went and killed the mosquito. So that time, at all, one knife can come and cut off the neck. Is that okay?
I didn't exactly get that.
Okay. Now, let's say that you are very good. I will take myself as an example. Now I'm talking to you. We both are drinking badam milk and I see one small mosquito in the next table sitting on its own. Or there is one ant and I'm simply crushing the ant while I'm talking to you. Knowingly or unknowingly, we decided knowingly or unknowingly we should be punished, right? So I'm going to crush, I'm talking to you, I'm crushing that ant. So immediately as I'm talking to you, there should be a sword which should come from the roof and break my head into two. Because I broke the head of the ant into two. Is that okay? Instant punishment?
Yeah, maybe if there are instant punishments, we might not commit it again.
Yes, but
because
you have a chance to rectify also. No?
Okay.
See, the point is Krishna does not want to punish you because he wants to show his power. He wants to, these are laws which are given, right? So the judge does not enjoy giving hanging. That's why he breaks the pen. It's not that he loves, because he says, breaking a pen is, let this be the last thing. I should not write with this pen again, and such a judgment should never be recreated. So nobody likes to give punishment, right? The punishment should be to change. So they're just hoping that somewhere you will change. So that's why when you do Ma Mantra, you change, and you, not only you, me, all of us change, and we will not make mistakes. We get purified over a period of time. And that's why I wanted, first day chanting 6 times yesterday. So today we will chant 18 times, right? You all are going to chant and I'm going to hear.
Okay.
Anything else?
Okay. Ma'am, manifestation is true according to Bhagavad Gita.
Huh?
Manifestation is true according to Bhagavad Gita.
What is true according to, I didn't hear that word.
Manifestation.
Manifestation means what? What you see is manifestation. So if you switch on the video and I see you, it's manifestation. If you see a baby which is born, it is manifestation. Manifestation is true according to anything. No? What you see, what happens is manifestation. But I think you have a different question and I'm not getting a grip of it. What is it you're actually trying to tell? Because I'm taking the literal word and meaning of manifestation.
What exactly the manifestation is?
Sorry, what is it?
What exactly the manifestation is according to Bhagavad Gita?
No, manifestation in any meaning means what you see. What is manifested or unmanifested. What you don't see is not manifested. What you see. For example, I am going and I've done a sin. I go hit my leg and I get punished. That is called, that punishment is manifested because it's come. Right? A baby is born means baby is manifested. It's come into life. I'm able to see it. Right? What is born? Whereas a tree is manifesting itself, it's growing. So that is the actual meaning of manifestation. Okay. I want to ask something which I think I'm not getting the question actually. Hare Krishna. You want to rephrase that question? Or you want to think and come back to me? You can.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, I will again
Yeah,
ask.
because I'm not getting a grip of it.
Okay, okay.
Manifestation of thoughts is also born. No? Vaishnavi, manifestation thought. So it depends on what thought. If Vaishnavi, you're going to think of taking a knife and poke me because you're getting irritated, then you're manifesting thoughts which are not healthy. So that is also coming into life. Hare Krishna. Right? So one of you all can chant 18 times, please. Maybe I can chant today, but tomorrow onwards I want you all to take turns. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Tell once Hare Krishna. I'll pause recording and then we'll chant. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I'll end the recording. Hare Krishna.